You're reading a great story, turning the pages, and suddenly you hit a roadblock, a word so long and unfamiliar that it completely stops you in your tracks. That is exactly when you reach for a physical dictionary. It is a specialized tool built specifically to solve this problem. Inside, it breaks down every piece of data you need for a single word. It gives you the exact spelling, the precise meaning, the grammatical part of speech, and even instructions on how to say it out loud. By learning to navigate this tool, you stop having to ask someone what a word means. You gain the skills to define any word you encounter, making you a completely independent reader. To do that, we need to know how to read an entry. This animated diagram shows a standard dictionary layout for the word brave. We have the target word, called the headword, followed by its part of speech, its definition, and a sentence showing it in action. You might also notice a section that uses symbols instead of standard letters. This is the pronunciation guide. Because English letters can represent many different sounds, these specific marks tell you exactly how to vocalize the word. By matching these symbols to the sounds they represent, you can say a word correctly even if you have never heard it spoken before. Once you can identify the spelling, the definition, and the pronunciation, you have complete control over the word. You can write it accurately and speak it with absolute confidence. But to find a word, you have to know how a dictionary sorts them. This diagram illustrates the baseline rule. Words are organized in strict alphabetical sequence based on their very first letter, from A to Z. When two words share that first letter, you move to the second letter to break the tie. Since A comes before E in the alphabet, that is placed before bed. To speed up your search, dictionaries provide a shortcut. This diagram shows the top corners of a typical dictionary page. These bold terms are called guide words. They are not random headings. They establish strict alphabetical boundaries. The left word is the first entry on the page, and the right word is the very last entry. Let's test this. Does the word ant belong on this page? N comes after P in apple, but before R in arm, so it fits perfectly inside this specific alphabetical window. By using those tie-breaking rules and checking the guide words, you can flip directly to the correct section without blindly scanning hundreds of pages. Let's put this into a reliable system. This checklist outlines a 5-step search process. First, verify your target word's exact spelling. Second, open the dictionary to that starting letters section. Third, scan the guide words at the top corners to locate your exact alphabetical window. Fourth, scan down the columns comparing your target word letter by letter against the entries.
Finally, read the definitions carefully and study the example sentence to understand exactly how the word functions in context. When you treat word discovery as a rigid, step-by-step checklist, an overwhelmingly large book becomes a highly predictable database. Let's run the algorithm on the word journey. We open to the J section, scan the guide words for J-O, drill down to J-O-U, and trace the column until we pinpoint journey. While digital search bars are fast, the act of flipping pages and scanning columns requires you to constantly sort and categorize letters in your head. This manual repetition trains your brain to recognize word patterns and alphabetical sequences much faster than just clicking a link. Your objective now is consistency. Commit to hunting down just one new word every single day to expand your vocabulary through active practice. To start your practice, take a look at this assignment board. Grab a dictionary, apply the 5 steps, and research the exact definitions for curious, ancient, and explore. Consistent, independent dictionary use is a non-negotiable habit. It is a skill shared by all great readers, writers, and speakers.